everyone, this is Vickie Wyand at the Brighton District Library. Today we're going to be making marbled coasters. And attached to this video, as before, is a list of instructions should you care to print them out to follow along as well. So let's get started. Okay everyone, once you open up your bag, you should have 2 tiles, 2 cork backings, a little cup of 91% alcohol, a little pipette, and a couple of permanent markers. I've also included, for the example today, extra ones that I had here at the library. So if you have extra permanent markers of any kind, they will work as well to add to the 2 that you got in your bag. So once you want to get started, I would suggest you put it on newspaper or in a tray like this to catch any alcohol that's running off. And then make sure you have cleaned this really good with your alcohol or wash it off and let it dry really well. And then all you have to do is take your markers of any color. And I wanted just to show you a couple things I did. I used a bunch of different markers to create this one. So there's different colors. I used just a couple of colors. This was blue and purple, and then I turned it and let the alcohol run through it to make streaks. You can use a little more alcohol and blend it more like this one, or you can just do little dots and create little pools of color like I did in this one. So once you get your marker, you can scribble it however you want to. Just scribble, filling in all the way over, all the way to the end. And I would also scribble on the sides. Make sure you get everything here on the little sides, like this. When you get to the end, scribble however you want to. You can scribble over here. I like to fill it all in where there's no white. You can also go back and do that later, fill in the sides if you see you've left some. And then just take, I would always let this color dry really well, because otherwise they will blend. If you start to do your next color right next to it, they will start to blend if they're not dry. So I usually start at the other end or on the other side, and then I do a red maybe here. And I like to make it dark, so sometimes I do it over again. Make it dark. Get all on the sides. Scribble however you like, using as many colors as you like. So once you start that, you can do this way. Scribble it however you want. And I, like I said, would make it pretty dark and fill along the edges. So as soon as I get mine done, we'll be right back. Back again, I have finished mine, coloring it in just with red and the blue. And be careful when you open up your cup. It is taped inside of a plastic bag. Just be careful when you take the tape off, you don't splash it. I think I've given you plenty to do both of your tiles, but all you have to do is take a little bit, suck it up in a little pipette, just a little bit. You don't even need that much. And you can learn to do just one little tiny drop, or you can actually just touch it. Let me show you here. So here I just take it and I just put a drop right there. And you can see it'll start to bleed. And then if I let it run a little bit, it'll run down into the red. And we can drop them. I like to drop them in the 4 corners first. See how it works? See how it's bleeding out? Just one little drops. Starting to bleed, and I can run it around a little bit. See how it's starting to bleed. Wherever you want the color to mix, just put one little drop. And you can just let it sit and pool, or you can pick it up and move it around to see what kind of blending you'll get. This is really starting to blend nicely now. You can move it a little bit. If you want some of it to go back, you can just move it around. This doesn't have much. I think I'll put a little, and you don't even have to do a drop. If you just wanted to take your pipette and place it there, it'll be a tiny bit, just a little bit come out onto it. Just a tiny bit. And if you don't like what you have done, it's easy to take a bunch of alcohol and spray it all over and then rinse it off and start again. But I like the way this one's coming out. And that's all there is to it. So once you've liked whatever you've done, you can just sit and let it dry. I'll do one more right there. Get a little more bleeding. Just a little more in that one spot. And you can take this and rake it through if you'd like to, the end of your pipette. Move it around. If you want to color in some of the darker areas, you could make a little line. And there you have it. Now, once you need to let it dry really, really well, probably overnight, a time or two. If you tend to use this as a coaster, they do suggest in the instructions to seal it so that, because water will affect it if you don't seal it. And I used Krylon. I bought some of this. You can also use outdoor Mod Podge, which they say is water resistant but not waterproof. So I went with the Krylon, and it tells you on there how to spray it, but this needs to be completely dry. The two I did were these two. I did spray these two, so you would see these two are sprayed, which gives it more of a gloss. I bought the gloss. And then these two have not been sprayed. There's not much difference because we want to keep the colors the same, but it'll be resistant to water if you're going to use it as a coaster. So have fun with this. This is a little addendum to our video. I neglected to tell you that once you have your tile is completely dry after putting the alcohol on it, give it at least a day to dry well, and then you can do the shellac or the Krylon or Mod Podge. Give that at least a day, especially if it is humid out, so that it is completely dry. And then all you have to do is turn it over, take your piece of cork, and it has a sticky back. You just peel that off. Then you just line it up, the corners and the sides, and press it down. And there you have your marbled coaster. Thanks for joining.